Welcome to the Fan Bros, the show where the bros are fans. Doodle. And welcome, internets, to another episode of
Fan Bros,
the show where the bros are fans, or something to that extent.
You gotta keep going.
Gotta power through it.
I'm just gonna power through it. Shouts to Combat Jack. It's your boy DJ Ben Hameen, aka Robbing, the Black Boy Wonder, aka Arsenio Holodeck, aka the Anti-Tripe Equation, aka Blackish Bolt, aka Wakanda's favorite DJ, here on the spaceship tonight for all nerds, the multicultural maestros. And as always, I am joined by
Tatiana King Jones, the Grand Duchess of Tech, also known as the Ahura of the Spaceship, Chance the Parapper, Colleen Wingstop, Deuce Piccolo, Sean Jean, Luke Picard, the Black Russian, the Black Rogue, and Ivan Yayo.
Mm-hmm. It's real smooth when you're reading off that thing.
Why do you? You mad because you stuttered in the beginning. You mad.
I might be a little mad. I might be a little upset
you
about
mad
that.
because I'm resourceful. It's all right.
There it is, Drake of the Blurred World.
Hey, man.
All right, man. And yes, like you heard in our harmonizing intro, that's right. Returning before you ever thought it was possible, before I thought it was possible, my co-host is back.
The Chico Leo, a.k.a. Luke Beige, a.k.a. Afro Cheeks,
Keep going.
a.k.a. Wholesaler Moon.
Yes.
All right.
That's all I got.
That's it. But you are back. Welcome back, Chico, again.
That's right, back in black.
Back in black. You know, I thought we'd have to wait till the 5th anniversary to see you again, but here you are.
I pop up,
Yeah, you do. You know, you're on
like a
Screen
bad
Squad.
check. Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm still on.
Like a bad check. No, catch that.
I'm still in the Fan Bros family.
Yes, you are. Always, though. You are an original. You know, one of the 3 amigos yourself.
That's right.
3 Migos. It should be just 3 Migos, right? Yeah.
Amigos.
Yeah, 3 Migos. Yeah, you know, however that works out. But anyway, like I said, this is FanBrosShow, and tonight, you know, joining us, just kicking it in the spaceship tonight, you know, we have, you know, just go on ahead and introduce yourself. I don't think I can do it near as well as you can.
This is April Rain, a.k.a. nothing.
I thought you
got
were gonna
nothing.
come with
No,
it.
I got nothing. Nobody told me. I could have worked something up, but it's fine. It's just me. I'm here hanging out with the crew.
AKA Rain of April.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. You know, you can flip it and bounce it. You know, well, you know, we just got a full spaceship tonight. It's a party. It's a party. You know, I hope everyone is having a good time. You saw that. You heard that, Tatiana.
I
Real
caught
smooth.
the wave late, but I caught it.
Yeah, you caught it. All right.
Yeah.
You know, I hope everyone's having a great time out there. You know, real quick, man, I just want to give a big shout out because today was a crazy day for a lot of people in media. I want to give a big shout out to everybody at ESPN. They had a whole hell of a lot of layoffs. It was really...
What happened?
I mean, ESPN laid off like 100 of their employees today, from journalists, behind the scenes, to people who are on camera. I mean, just all kind of layoffs. Like I was watching, before I came into the spaceship, I was watching Sports Center, the 6 with Michael and Jamel. And they started the first 15 minutes of the show on a real somber note. Like they just sat there and talked about the layoffs and everything that's happening with ESPN.
Wow.
And how ESPN is facing these problems because of digital, you know, the digital world popping up. And also because ESPN spent a lot of money buying up a lot of like college football rights and stuff like that. So they outlaid a lot of money and the money isn't coming back as quick. So they had to do, you know, what they had to do
Look like
today.
real life Cavs and Bleacher Report's taking over, huh?
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, the digital world is definitely making its mark and really going hard on them. I mean, Bleacher Report moved into new offices and it's popping. And, you know, ESPN is doing what they can. And I think the 6, you know, where Michael and them are, is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a great show and they're doing such a great job. But I just really want to give them a shout because they were talking about something, how people today are hitting them and blowing up their Twitter like, oh, well, we wish you'd been part of the layoffs. You know, you should have gotten fired. And it's like, you know, we deal with a little stuff here at the show, you know, every now and then people are like, oh, well, I wish Ben Amin wasn't on the show and Tatiana was the host.
I hate her.
You know, or Tatiana sucks, you know,
Yeah.
Chico should be the host, you know.
Yeah.
And we deal with all these things, but, you know, we're not really like in that position where our lives are depending on this show. Right. You know, we're just doing this because we do it and because we love it and we love all y'all. But people are like them, that's their livelihood. Like, this is their only source of income. So when you're like wishing on somebody to get fired, that's some real ill. Like, you really gotta. But Michael made a real ill point that I really loved when he's like, they don't look at us as humans. We're just entertainment to them. So it's like he can't be mad at them saying, yo, why don't they get fired? Because it's just like when they want a coach to get fired, or like when we're like, what's the name? Snyder shouldn't do any more, Superman films.
Okay.
But I don't really think that Snyder shouldn't do films. I just think he shouldn't do Superman anymore.
I think he shouldn't do films.
Ooh, okay.
Well, he's got his money either way. Hopefully he saved it. But, he's still going to make films. Whether or not we say he shouldn't make them, that man is going to keep on making his films because his films are making that money.
I get you.
But Stephen A. Smith was trending earlier today on Twitter because people wanted him to be fired and he was not. So just going to your point,
I don't think Michael and them were trending.
Never be fired. Okay?
No, never.
As long as you say fire him, he will never be fired.
Yeah, I was watching. It was so funny because right after this whole somber, intro, they go to a Stephen A. Smith commercial where he is demanding that Phil Jackson be fired.
Yeah,
I just want to give a big shout out to Stephen A. because his on-screen game is so perfection.
It's crisp.
Like it's so whether you like him or not, he is straight. He gives you that. I'm Stephen A. Smith. Blah blah blah,
the accuracy.
And he gives you that every day and night. There's he never lets up. It's like, he sells his brand very well.
And he is consistent in it.
What we talk about, consistency, I don't know if it's authentic, but it's authentic to him.
Well.
It's definitely authentic to him. Like, he does
Like
not
McDonald's.
change.
It's consistent and authentic like McDonald's.
Hey, a hamburger from McDonald's does not decompose, okay? It stays forever. So.
That's consistency, all right.
Consistency at its finest.
But authentic?
It's authentic to McDonald's brand. Just like
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith is authentic to the Stephen A. Smith brand.
I guess that's true.
Blah, blah,
Right. I mean, but one
Right.
of the
I was
issues
trying to comment on the authenticity
I
of
got
Stephen
you.
A. Smith and McDonald's
I got you.
not being very.
I got you. I mean, one of the issues, though, is that some of the people that were laid off live in Connecticut, right? Because that was where ESPN headquarters are. And so for those folks who have families, they may need to move, right? Because there aren't a lot of non-ESPN media or sports-related opportunities there. So, it can be a huge shakeup for a lot of those folks.
They could go to WWE.
I was going to say, isn't the wrestling over there?
WWE is headquartered in Stanford. So,
They
But
might
if
be
you've been
laying
doing
people off
hockey
pretty
for
soon.
15 years, don't do that. Don't put that out in the universe.
True indeed. WWE needs to stand strong because we need Slam Bros to keep reporting on them.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Don't talk about Vince McMahon. Don't talk dirty on that man.
You know me. I love Vince McMahon. I look. I'm like back to blah blah blah. You want to talk about a man who sells his brand? It's Vince McMahon.
Listen, just that gift of him walking in.
Oh, like if I could walk into every room like Vince McMahon walks
You need to
into
do
the
that.
room.
You need to commit to that.
April, who's your favorite wrestler? Or in the past or now?
Okay, so I'm gonna date myself, but I'm gonna say The Rock, period.
Okay.
Just because. But way back in the day when I used to watch, now this was back in the 80s, the Von Erich boys.
Wow.
Right. Carrie and Keith. No. This is before your time. I'm sure you were like an embryo. But there were like 3 or 4 of them, but the whole family was involved. But I gotta go with The Rock now. And then The Rock has a fine ass cousin, right?
Who?
Is it? Doesn't he have?
He does, girl. Let me find out.
Oh, easy. Bring it down. I thought he did because his father was a wrestler too,
Yep,
right?
yes,
Yeah, his whole family.
Right.
Oh, you're talking about Roman Reigns. That's who you're talking about.
Yes.
That's his cousin? It's
Yeah.
like second.
Tamina,
yeah.
you know how everybody cousins
Yeah,
in
basically,
WWE.
yeah.
So you talking about Roman Reigns. He is fine, but he boo that man as a wrestler. But hey.
Again, I don't watch, but I'll go with The Rock because that's easy.
More sad news today.
Yeah, definitely some other sad news today that it's like we're starting off the show. I mean, it's sad, but it's also, the man lived a great life and did a lot of great things. Shout out to Jonathan Demme, the director of Silence of the Lambs.
And a lot of other stuff.
A lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Married to the Mob.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh. I mean, that's what's so crazy.
Something Wild.
Yeah,
Yes.
He defined like the concert movie with that Talking Heads one. Stop Making Sense.
Tell him, Chico.
He worked a lot. He did shit in every genre. Like Silence of the Lambs was his only horror movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider that a horror movie,
It
but,
damn sure is.
yeah. So
Listen, anybody that can pull that out of Anthony Hopkins has to be a genius, because that move to this day, you hear him making that noise when he sucks his. Bruh. Now I'm gonna have problems. You and I have to step outside now. But let's talk about. Jonathan Demme also did TV. So for example, he directed this week's episode of Shots Fired that aired tonight. That aired tonight.
He directed
Yes.
this week's.
Yes.
Wow.
So shout out to Gina Prince Bythewood.
Wow.
Yes.
And Rock Bythewood, who are the creators of the show. But
Yes.
the timing there is good.
That's crazy.
I did not know that.
No, I mean, like
Rest in
I
power.
think he also did a lot of stuff for Haiti. I think he made a documentary and he was involved in raising money and stuff like that. Like he was down for social causes. I know when there was a backlash in Silence of the Lambs from the gay community, he didn't like act the way a lot of people like. He actually sat down, he listened to people, he apologized,
And then he made Philadelphia.
and then he made Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's sort of like what's his face, Chris
Wow.
Pratt last week, who made
Yeah.
like a ridiculous, Hollywood doesn't make movies about blue collar people, like whatever. And then he came out the next day and was like, all right, that was stupid. I'm going to own it. I'm sorry. And that's all you got to do most of the time.
That's all you got to do, and they never get.
And Jonathan
that.
Demme did that. And,
I mean, that's crazy. Like you said, that Silence of the Lambs. Just Silence of the Lambs was a movie for years I would not watch, just because I kept hearing about how crazy it was. And it's not even Anthony Hopkins in that movie. It's the real killer who is the most horrifying thing to me. Like, it puts the lotion on it. Like, I can't even finish the sentence because it's just like, die, you evil bastard, die.
And you know what? His hair.
Die.
You are scaring the crap out of him.
I hate that.
Between
bastard.
that and it, you have an issue. You have a serious
That
issue.
clown.
yes,
clowns.
Something Wild was the first time I ever saw Ray Liotta.
Oh,
That the Jonathan Demme movie, like basically when I think of Ray Liotta, all I think of is that and Goodfellas.
I mean,
Like,
of course you got to
know.
think of Goodfellas.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but Something Wild was before that.
Nice.
And I mean, he directed a lot of movies, and he was supposedly like one of these all around good guys in Hollywood, whereas most of these people are
Not so good.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also did The Manchurian Candidate with Denzel.
With Denzel.
Oh,
Yep.
then that was a good remake.
And he did Beloved.
Oh, that's right. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, he did Beloved.
Wow.
So rest
yeah.
in power.
Yeah,
for
like
real.
I mean, for real. Like, yeah. I mean, you did great work. You will be always remembered for that. So, wow, that's crazy. All right, and other crazy news though, like the responses, Tatiana.
Woo, we have gotten a deluge of responses, but that is not a bad thing. That is all the good things. We had put out our I don't want to say our quarterly announcement, monthly announcement for help. But again, we had reached out to everyone who listens to the FanBro podcast and otherwise, just to tell you that we're looking for everyone in the creative space, whether you're a writer, whether you're an artist, whether you're a videographer, whether you like to paint, like whatever you
Make
like
beats,
to do,
sing,
make beats,
rap.
whatever. We actually want your mixtape. So if you want to be with the FanBros Show crew, if you want to help us expand this brand, build with us, if you want to get some more experience with us, hit us up, contact@fanbros.com. You can let us know exactly what you want to do. I may respond to you personally and ask you for some more information, but we're looking for everyone who wants to help us build out FanBro Show to be greater and better than ever before. As you know, we're all about for all nerds. So we want for all nerds here.
Word up. And also, like, I saw some people on Twitter this week talking about, like, yo, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to hear that.
Me neither. Do not limit yourself. Do not screen yourself. Like, we're not pre-screening you guys like, oh, well, unless you wear blue shirts, we ain't trying to rock with you. Like, no. come to us, regardless of whether you think you may or may not be a great fit. You never know. That's the beauty of FanBros Show. Everyone has their own unique perspective, their own unique strengths, and we want to see what you can bring to the table. So regardless of if you think you're a great fit, if you have something to offer up, hit us up. Let us know. If we can't find some space for you right away, we'll figure out something. And like I had said last week, even if you don't work directly with us, we may get you in touch with other people to help expand your personal brand. We may help give you opportunities with other groups. April Rain is here. You may do something where you may need to help her with her projects. You never know.
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
Always shoot that shot. And thank you again to everyone who did shoot that shot, who sent it in. We've been reviewing everybody. It's been great. Anything out there that you feel you can help us with, we're always looking for more people to help our social media accounts, visuals, audio, anything that you do that's dope. We're looking to make this, a unified mission and expand and show other people how to get to this level and even to the next level beyond us. So, hit us up, contact@fanbros.com. Hit us on the Twitter @FanBrosShow. And with that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more FanBros.
Hey, yo, Internets, it's Kim Sonian, the ghost producer of the FanBros Show, right here with my man Don Will.
Yup.
And we need you to rate, subscribe, and comment on our iTunes page, our SoundCloud page, and, of course, check out fanbros.com. For what, Don Will? What do they need to check out?
For all the hottest updates in geek culture.
What?
I over-enunciated for diction and clarity. Bang.
Welcome back, FanBros family. We are here to give you the dopeness in geek culture, and we are bringing you the best in interviews. We had a chance to interview the people from Slight, particularly the director himself, J.D. Dillard, and Jacob Latimore, who is the main character for this movie. It's actually a really interesting take on magic and superheroes and what it means to be a hero. So definitely listen, take a look, let us know what you think.
Make sure you do that and go check the movie this weekend in theaters. Go do it. Support black film. Like Tatiana said, it's an original take on superheroes, on street magic. And like we talked about with the director and the star, it also has some issues dealing with fatherhood, being a black father. It's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Great debut. Go check it out. It's in theaters this weekend. And listen to this interview and find out more. And welcome back, FanBros. This is your boy, DJ Ben. I know you've been enjoying this episode, but we about to turn it up in here. We are here with the stars of Slate, the new movie. Slate. I fucked that up. See what I mean? I do that every time.
You know what I mean? You did this with Dulé.
Yeah.
And we sat here and had a conversation with Dulé.
A terrible
He made
conversation.
you say it
with
very
Dulé.
slowly 3
Very
times,
slowly
remember?
3 times,
Okay.
and I still do it every time.
Okay.
All right, Tatiana, why don't you just tell them what we're here to do today?
We're here to interview J.D. Dillard, the writer-director of Slight, and also Jacob Latimore, the star of Slight, also known as Bo. Thank you very much for being here. First off, we did see the movie yesterday.
Awesome. Love it.
And we had a lot of questions about the movie. I told you yesterday that you basically were, well, I'm not going to give it away. I'll do that later because that gives away the story. But to kind of riff off that, the story itself, it is a sleight of hand. Like, we came in thinking something totally different. Like, we're like, oh, this guy has superpowers, he's an alien, whatever the case may be. And then you flip the script on everyone in multiple different ways. So just that whole process, particularly, and you can both jump in, but particularly you, JD, that process of getting that story together. And obviously you have the background of magic as well. But can you tell us a little bit more about how that story came?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we've kind of seen the black kid selling drugs 1,000 times, and even looking at you know, how we wanted to introduce Bo, just kind of showing that this is something that could happen to anybody.
Right.
You know, and that's why like we made sure it was very clear that Bo had a bright future and that he, you know, had an engineering mind and scholarship and all of these things going for him. But, you know, when sort of life hit the fan, you know, because of those circumstances, he had to improvise and he had to like sort of do things he didn't really want to do to take care of the people that he cared about. And just really sell and show that like that really can happen to any of us. Like, you know, selling drugs is like not something that only happens in the ghetto. It's not something that only happens to like young black men. And even though Bo is that, you know, I think we wanted to just have like an empathetic way in, so you could see that like, yeah, this isn't necessarily a product of the environment all the time. Like if you or I needed 25 grand tomorrow, there are very few things we could do that are legal.
And then Jacob, what drew you to that character?
I think it had a really great balance of like fantasy and reality. I think that's what really drew me to the script. I felt like I could relate to Bo, and I felt like Bo was a real kid, you know. But with the sleight of hand and the magic and, you know, the origin of, you know, who Bo may become really intrigued me. So I really wanted to dive into something like that. As an actor, you always want to try different things, and you want to, you know, you read a bunch of scripts, you know, every day. You know, agents are sending you numbers of scripts, but, you know, you look for those scripts that really stand out and are really out the box. And I really felt JD was doing something incredible with the script. So I definitely wanted to be a part of it and have fun with it.
Now, that's one thing. Your character goes to some very dark places in the movie.
Yeah.
But he's also someone that we can relate to, like, as a human being. So how did you approach making him that, and then how did you approach writing that so that, because he does do some really evil things, you know?
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
Yeah,
But
I mean, situations occur, and he's caught up in them.
I think I didn't really think about it that hard. I didn't try to get caught up into the fantasy world of it. I just sort of tried to make Bo as human as possible. You know, you know, and I think that was sort of what was going to make the film work. I felt like if it was too much of, you know, if it was too marvelly the way I was portraying Bo, I think it would have. I don't think we would have really captured what we captured. I think Bo had to be relatable in a way, and you know, the human side of Bo, he had to be subtle, and, you know, the way I had to play it was that's the way I approached it. I didn't try to overdo it.
And I think with some of the darker stuff, you know, we wanted to make sure that these environments are hard and that there still is like some loss of innocence as he's sort of trying to straddle the line. You know, I think there would have been something a little inauthentic about his journey if he never really had to face real consequences. So, you know, I think just inviting that into the movie at least made it for Alex, my co-writer, and I, like, made it a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more interesting to actually see him navigate, you know, these sort of like points of no return. Yeah. And I think, you know, if some of those moments that you're talking about weren't there, you know, he kind of like gets through it scot-free, which is, you know, I think you really want to test the character and you really want to push them to those limits to see, you know, what's really kind of beneath their skin.
I'm trying to build something. And every corner I turn, there's another piece of shit who thinks they can just fuck me over. You did it behind my back. You did it to my face. So let's make this an example. Not for you, but for the next motherfucker who thinks it's a good idea to fuck with Angelo.
You definitely pushed Bo, both with writing and acting wise. You pushed him to a breaking point mentally too, because the stuff he goes through in that movie is just things that not a normal person would normally go through, and the things he's forced to do. And I'm curious, obviously, after the fact, but I'm curious as to how that's going to change him as a person. Because we don't really see that. We kind of see the end, and we go from there. But it's just like, what happens next? Like, how is this character going to grow or maybe even get worse?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if we are to look at where Bo would go after this, I mean, I definitely think he would kind of be in this like never that again mentality, and just know that basically he did get pushed so far that he's not even gonna like play with that anymore, and if he did need help, like that's just never gonna be the way to get it again. but you know, on sort of the superhero origin side of things, which, you know, we never really thought of when making it, but people talk about it. You know, it's like been in the trailers and been in reviews.
I immediately
and whatnot.
thought that.
But it was kind of a funny thing to realize that we had done. But, you know, and looking at where the story would continue, there's certainly space to see where that goes. Yeah. You know, Bo is only sort of coming online as this type of person that he is by the end of the movie. And, you know, if we ever jumped back into Slight, like that's sort of where we would start to. That's where we would start.
Yeah. You both talked about superheroes. Obviously, there is kind of the fantasy element of it. And then you also have somewhat of a background with Star Wars. So I was wondering, well, how did any Star Wars influence, because you worked with J.J. Abrams, I wonder how did any of that Star Wars influence kind of hit on screen? I mean, obviously, things of the ideas of the Force and having some type of innate power. Did any of that, whether it was from you personally, like you were thinking about how superheroes work, or even you when you wrote it, like, did any of that come into play?
I mean, visually, there are a couple of things that we played with just to sort of make nods to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, Bo throwing his hood up in the very end, like walking up to Angela's house, is very like Luke Skywalker outside of Jabba's palace. So, you know, there definitely were like some key moments where we're like, okay, let's take the Jedi with the hood up and translate that into a black kid in a hoodie, which, you know, is like an image that right now is like both victimized and vilified, and let's like turn it into this like kind of cool, let's just like shift the cultural iconography for these scenes and make a black kid in a hoodie the hero. So but that was really that final sequence is really, you know, any sort of Star Wars influence or love from my own childhood, we sort of jammed in there.
Cool. What about you, Jacob? Did you have any of that influence in your head when you were thinking when you were shooting?
I mean, it was definitely fun, like stopping bullets and like.
I was like, okay, somewhere.
I think that was like the fun part of it. That's where I got to really, you know, go into a different world mentally of just, you know, just like this is amazing, you know. So
and what's always tough about that stuff is that it doesn't look as cool on set.
No.
It looks really cool on screen.
You're like,
I think I almost kind of got scared when I seen the trailer. I was like, oh shit, yo, that's what we did. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and like you look at,
and even like directing actors through that, and you being in that, you know, obviously in that sequence, that it requires like a lot of trust from your actor to like trust me, this will be cool. Like I know there's like strings holding shit and with sticks and like it's just
yeah, exactly. It's a dinosaur. Look up.
So you know there is a little bit of like literally like a 6'4" guy pulling Jacob on rope.
So that's how you real.
Yeah.
Okay.
People driving by like.
Yeah, look like some excerpt from 12 Years a Slave.
Oh no!
You know, in
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, in Beverly Hills. So, you know, it definitely requires a little bit of, I think, you know, faith on the actor's side to sort of get through those, because, you know, there are some moments, and I feel like, especially with genre, where there is a little bit of like, just trust me as the director. Like, hopefully this will translate into what we need, and you know, any edit, and once visual effects are applied. But on set, yeah, it doesn't look that cool.
Now, you were talking about how, you know, this film deals with fantasy elements and science fiction and everything, but some of the really real world stuff that it deals with is like abandonment and abuse and, you know, other real topics. Like, what made you choose to put those in, and like, were they helping the story? Like, how did you feel that they brought the story along?
Well, my co-writer Alex and I, like, our approach to any sort of genre is character first, which seems kind of obvious, or like seems like it would be obvious, but I feel like in a lot of the movies that we love, that's actually not what's first. It's like the big idea might be first, the world might be first, or even like the intellectual property might be first. But we really wanted to make sure that if you took all the magic out of the movie, that there still was like a really convincing story. And if we took the science fiction out, there was really a convincing story. And, you know, ultimately, you know, you have a kid who's trying to take care of his little sister, sort of running into a girl who you know, comes with her own baggage and comes with her own problems. And then just making sure that it's a story where it's not like, you know, boy saves girl and fixes all her problems for her, but they kind of like meet each other halfway. And I think they both are sort of just like conduits to getting the other person to realize that they are more in control than they think they are of the situation.
As you can see, there's no string at all. Alright. What's your name?
Holly.
You can grab it, Holly.
How did you do that?
That to us just makes it a little fresher than it being a very traditional like damsel in distress, which, you know, I think we stumbled into like a first draft of that. We're like, this is not right. Like that she needs her power and he needs his power, and then they will meet in the middle.
Thank you for doing that.
You know, so we just wanted to make sure that the story worked first, and then it just became an issue of like spinning plates. Like, okay, let's check in on the magic, let's spin that. Like, let's check in on the science fiction, we'll spin that. Let's check in on the family story, let's check in on the Bo Holly story. There was just like a couple of things to play with, but you know, we wanted to make sure that at the very least, like the story between the family and the story between Bo and Holly worked, and then everything else was secondary.
I think that's what I really like. One of the things I really liked about, especially Bo and Holly's relationship and how you portrayed it, was that they're very young, but they come off in a very adult relationship manner. Like when she goes over his house, you know, she's like, "Oh, I'll stay here and wait." And then he comes home and she's like, you know, we can sleep in the same bed, whatever.
We see that they're very independent. You know, we witness Bo's independency sort of like really, you know, first thing on the script. You know what I mean? We see that, you know, he's sort of the man of the house now, you know, with taking care of the only string in his family he has, and you know, we really see like how far he goes to protect, you know, what the only thing he has, which is his little sister, and I think those are the things that just really I could really relate to with Bo, you know. So I think that was like really, really incredible. That was dope.
And it was also like you said, you also have the element of him being a single father, even though he's not a father. You know, it's his little sister, but it might as well be him being a single father. So he has to grow up so fast. So that was really dope how you brought all that in. But what inspired you to, you know, write that into the script?
I mean, I think part of it, like we were saying before, is just playing with something, like playing with the type of character we've seen on television, we've seen in movies, but adding just a different way in. So, you know, because we have seen this sort of single, like the you know, the kids without parents, like the young black men without like fathers or sometimes even mothers in their lives, and what does that look like? So I think we wanted to sort of at face value, like show that person, but then deconstruct it and sort of build it with new pieces, just so I think the audience can see that like there are so many ways to this end result, not just like what the news will try to show you, or not just what like, you know, like popular television will try to sell you on, but this could happen to anybody. So, and then again, with these genre movies, for us being character first, story first, we just thought that like, okay, well, there very naturally is like a relationship between like street magic and crime. Like they require deceit and some sort of savviness, and like that intersection makes a bit of sense. So in thinking about, okay, we want to like this guy, why is he doing this? How did he get here? You know, that's the beautiful thing about Dule playing Angelo. Like, I think, you know, it's so unlike any role he's played, for sure. But what was important about having someone like that as opposed to, you know, someone who's played a thug 1,000 times in a movie is that, you know, we know Bo's a smart kid, and I think you want to understand, like, the seduction. Like, you get how Bo would run into Angelo, and like, this guy's kind of chill and like just hanging out and doesn't seem scary. But we're kind of meeting Bo and Angelo as Angelo's taking a turn into some darker things as well. So, but yeah, Bo's too smart to have just like started rolling up in a gang.
And he had a plan. But everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So. And I'm curious, just what other aspect of geek culture are you both into?
I think I'm sort of diving into it. I think for me, I'm still sort of, I like this film and like other films I'm doing now. I just sort of like I think I'm starting to be into more books and you know, sort of like reading. Just sort of I feel like I'm learning from each script I read. You know, so I just sort of I think I'm still sort of diving into it honestly.
Yeah, and I'm full blown.
So you're talking video games, comic books, anime, all that.
We can go video games. I play considering all the things going on right now, I still play video games way too much.
Actually, I can't remember the last time I played video game. If I do play video games, it's definitely a Call of Duty or like I used to kind of be into those CSI games. It's like the investigative crime games.
Oh no way!
Yeah, you find like evidence and like.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like those are kind of that's kind of geeky.
Yeah,
that works.
That's super geeky.
That works.
I was in a spy gear when I was younger. I don't know if that
See
was.
now spy games.
Wow.
Sure is geeky.
That stuff was cool.
That stuff was cool. Like
I still like if someone gave me a
like
kit
the
right
little
now,
cars with the cameras on you, rolling
totally
inside
like,
another
put
room.
the things on like your eye. With
You really thought you were doing something with them.
yeah, exactly. I would straight buy that right now.
Yeah, like they sell it. You want to go?
Yeah, let's go to the spy store. Just buy some spy gear.
Let's go on the street and promote the movie.
It's like, is this about spies? Like, not at all.
You also do have a slight comic book coming out.
So yeah, we have a. Speaking of other stuff in the not dork because it's not dork.
Hey, geek or nerd is cool. Or blurred.
I'm a dork. So we do have a comic book that comes out soon that, you know, sort of acts a little bit as a prequel. So we play a little bit with, you know, how Bo got into the world that we sort of meet him in the movie, and then also sort of the science fiction component. We sort of show its origin and how he wound up using what he uses in the film. So it's a really cool piece and worked with some really great people pulling it together. Yeah. But it's just like a one-off that you know I think acts as just a little bit of a kick into the movie.
Oh, so it was right before. Okay,
yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I know you have Rob Guillory doing the art.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, from Chew.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, one of the best.
Well, it's so funny because when you know Blumhouse told us that we were going to be able to do a comic, you know, my first thought was like one of my good friends writes a lot of comics, and I was like, are they going to let him do it? And then I sent them his like credits. I'm like, oh my god, would he do it? I was like, oh cool, glad that's the reaction. Yeah. So my buddy Ryan Parrott ended up writing it, and then they hit me up and they were like, yeah, we got this guy Rob, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like I have a poster of him.
He's big time.
Yeah.
But the comic's beautiful, and Rob did such a cool job.
Rob is so good. Yeah. All right.
So what advice would you give to people who are up and coming? Because I know you're also a musician. Mm-hmm. You know, you started out as like an assistant, and you worked your way up. You write a director, getting your stuff, you know, signed right out of Sundance. Like people start in every different place, right?
Yeah.
And stuff sometimes it's not even related. So what advice would you give to other up and coming artists, whether they're writers or directors or anything?
I would say, I mean, relationships are like number one. I think building relationships and networking and, you know, finding events to be around people who have the same ambitions and dreams as you do. But, you know, I tell people all the time, it's not really a blueprint to how to get into the industry now. You know, it's like football. You kind of grab the ball and you like see what holes are open and you just try to like, you know, find your way in. And I think that's like sort of the key of it. Relationships are probably like the number one thing I could say. And you know, consistency, working on it every day, a workaholic. You know, you got to be on it. You got to be reading, researching. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be an actor, you have to study the greats. You study directors. I'm still doing that today. You know, sometimes they're like, I'm like, who's that director? You don't know that director? I'm like, I'm sorry. But I've seen so many of their work, and you kind of got to do the behind the scenes research where you see the face of the movies, but you want to see the people that are actually making the plays. And, you know, and that's the kind of the homework you need to do as an actor, and if you want to be a producer and a writer, you want to do your homework on those people.
Yeah, and I would say on the writing directing side, you just got to make stuff. nothing has done more work for me professionally than making something. And it's easy to, and I think it's taking exactly what Jacob said, like the research and everything. And then, from the perspective of a writer, you got to eventually turn that into something. You got to take that research and sort of synthesize it and distill it, and then make something that uses all that research and reading that you did. But Alex, my writing partner, and I, like we were swinging for jobs for years on sort of the studio writing side, and then took a break for a second, and then came back and wrote Slight, and Slight became Slight. Yeah. So I think just making something that you care about, making something that has like a beating heart to it, that helps people identify like who you are and the things that you're interested in. So yeah, I think making stuff that's certainly that helps.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, you survived the interview segment of FanBrosShow.
You survived.
But now we have the rap segment, our rapid fire questions. So are you ready?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to run through these quick.
How does this? Are you
Yes.
pointing them at somebody?
So
or do
we're
we just-
gonna name 2 choices, and both of you have to pick one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Number 1, Falcon or War Machine?
I don't even know who that is.
War Machine.
All right.
I'm just gonna trust
With
you.
confidence.
Follow me, man.
Okay. Luke Cage or Black Panther?
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Okay. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star
all the
Wars.
way.
The Wire or Breaking Bad?
Ooh.
I'm gonna still definitely go to
Breaking Bad. I'm
Really?
Breaking Bad. I'm Breaking Bad. I don't trust you. Maybe because I haven't watched the full series.
Okay.
Oh.
I've watched a lot of Omar scenes.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
good.
Yeah. Okay, Magneto or Professor X?
I'm gonna go. I mean, for Slight, I gotta go Magneto.
You got to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got.
There you go.
We got Magnegro over
Yeah,
here.
Magnegro.
Like.
They're gonna figure out what that means later. All right. Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart?
Dave.
Oh God! In a movie with Kevin.
Better answer this right. He might be on our show. Better answer this right.
I mean, Dave.
He's like, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna call
He
you?
ain't gonna put me in his next movie, man.
Don't let him listen to this.
You gotta edit that out, man. JD only answered.
Okay, if you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
Teleport.
Flight.
What's your favorite Wesley Snipes film?
Blade.
Yeah, I think Michael Blade too.
Blade? Good
Yeah.
one. Good one.
Okay, and last one, in any medium, book, TV, film, comics, whatever, video games, what character's death hurt you the most?
Ooh, Walking Dead Glenn.
Oh.
Oh my God, that was so brutal. Yo. I was ready to go. I was ready to call the producers. Like, what's your problem? Like, why did you ever do that? Like, he got.
Who hurt you?
Like, he got the sauce. Like, he got the sauce.
Too much sauce.
Too much.
This is a weird one. I'm gonna go Will Smith's dog in I Am Legend.
Whoa! Whoa!
So sad.
That was.
I can't watch that.
I wish you guys could see that.
Oh my God!
Yo, that was like the saddest shit.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could see Jacob
I was like-
choking this imaginary dog.
Yeah, that shit. That hurt me.
Yo,
Hurt.
that is.
I can't watch that
And again,
scene.
it's not even like my favorite character. I don't care about that dog.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotta care about
I mean,
it.
but like,
Well, when you mention it, yeah,
Like
that was.
you have to think about that.
All right. Well,
You have survived the rap segment. Please let the fan bros know where they can find you online.
I'm on Twitter at Jacob Latimore. Same for Instagram. Snapchat, Janji1996. JANJI 1996. I'm on everything.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, but like whatever. At JG Dillard instead of JD Dillard. JG Dillard, my middle name.
All right. All right, well,
In case y'all wanted to know. It's Gabriel. It's my
my middle name O'Neal.
I'm a Capricorn.
I'm a Capricorn.
Shout out.
Hey.
all right. Thank you, and we'll be right back with more FanBros Show.
Hey FanBros, this is Jamie Rigetti, managing editor of FanBros.com. We want to hear from you. Send us your article ideas, pitch ideas, or anything else you want to Jamie@FanBros.com.
Word up.
And welcome back, FanBros. Hope you're enjoying this episode of FanBros Show. Thank you to everyone who subscribes on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on YouTube, anywhere out there at FanBros Show. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all those great things. Make sure you're following D Chico Leo at DJ Ben Amin, at Tatiana King, to keep up with everyone on here in the spaceship.
Place to be.
The place to be. Scream Squad, Outlaw Bars, Slam Bros. You know, it's a big, massive movement.
And growing.
On. And growing. Who knows?
It's like the X-Men. They had X-Force. They had the New Mutants. They had Uncanny X-Men. What other groups do they have?
Well,
Generation X.
I mean, since you were mentioning
Gladys
X-Men.
Knight and the Pips.
That's right.
It's now time for Comics I Copped. And speaking of X-Men, Chico, as you said, that's funny that you had mentioned them, because this week they actually released X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold. So there you go. That is now 2 more X-Men titles.
Now wait, is this the X-Men Gold that had some kind of issues in the first issue?
Oh no, I think that was actually Uncanny X-Men that had some time of issues.
Okay.
So what is the difference between these two?
Well, one of them had all
For the
kinds.
uninitiated.
One of them had all kinds of like anti-Semitic, like
yeah,
like messages scrawled in it,
Are you
and
talking about like some original joint? Is this like a reprint?
No, this
of
is an X-Men issue. We actually didn't talk about this because I didn't really want to give more light to the darkness, but there was an issue of the X-Men that was released recently by an artist who will probably never work again.
Not an American comic.
Yeah, not an American.
He's an
comics.
Indonesian dude, and he put all kinds of like Indonesian, like far, whatever messages. I'm not sure what you call it. Far right, far left, far,
Yeah.
equivalent or whatever that could be. Okay.
Yeah, the equivalent. He drew them without the editor or the author knowing into the X-Men comic.
But that's a big thing that artists do. Artists
Yes.
constantly are drawing in like characters in the background. It's like a whole game between artists and editors. So they draw in all these artists, all these characters. Like they'll put like Donald Duck in the corner somewhere.
Todd McFarlane would always put Felix the Cat over and over again.
So this dude put like basically messages that were like scrawled graffiti in Jakarta, like in Indonesia, but like as a tattoo on Colossus, like in one of them it's like there's graffiti in the background and it's Kitty Pryde is standing there, and she's Jewish, and it was like a definitely like some kind of anti-Semitic, whatever. And of course they're not going to catch that, but someone else did, and actually G. Willow Wilson went on and actually was on Twitter really sort of
tearing him
But
apart.
back that one up for a little bit. You said, of course, they're not going to catch it. This is Marvel. You have
you
an
can't
army
catch
of
stuff that's in a
editors.
foreign language. Graffiti in
No,
a foreign
but
language.
Also, I feel like if you're going to hire that person, you have the burden to learn a little bit more
Well,
about
see,
that.
you got to understand though. This is like these are.
Well, I understand certain cultural things are
No.
intrinsic, but how?
Skip that. There's an X-Men issue that was published and released, and it features art by, I want to say it's Ethan Van Sciver. I hope I pronounced his last name right.
Yeah, that's right.
But he drew the word sex into every panel in the book.
Oh, you mean like kind of covert, very covert.
So these are like racist Easter eggs.
Yeah, I mean, he just says sex over and over again in every panel in various ways. Like it might be in the clouds, it might be in the bubbles. It's just in various things, and no one noticed it until the book was out.
I see.
So it's like, these things happen. Like,
see.
and so, I mean, of course, Marvel, immediately put out a statement like, what, this dude is never going to work again. So it's just one of those things. It was like, I don't know what dude was thinking. Like, that was just
He
not
was
the way to
thinking
get
he
the
had a
message out.
platform.
Well, he had a
put some crazy
platform, and he
message.
probably didn't think that anyone would catch it. Who knows?
Foolishness for that man right
So
there.
that has nothing to do with the comics that you copped, and I just added 5 or 10 minutes onto this episode.
There you go. But yeah, X-Men Blue and Gold dropped today, and no, they do not feature this. They don't feature anything that I would recommend buying either, though. And there was a great article by Brian Hibbs on comicsbeat.com today that was just so excellent and really just detailed the problems that Marvel is having right now, because I didn't know this. Marvel is like consistently not selling any of their superhero books above 50,000
copies
a month, yeah. While DC has like 16 books that is over 50,000 a month right now. Marvel is losing readers, and they have this big Secret Empire thing going on that is failing at every level, and it's just being regarded like,
Well, who'd have thunk? Make Captain America a Nazi. Yeah, that's what the kids want.
That's gonna work out.
Right.
And what the article points out is that Marvel just has a problem. Like, they don't know how. He's like, they're not judicious. Like, they've got 8 different Avengers titles right now.
We talked about that too. Too many events, too many ongoing, long-ass events, too many poor stories, to be very clear with you. It's not about technically the characters themselves. It's about how you situate these characters. And if it's not an interesting story, or if it's a story that doesn't make any sense, i.e., Nazi Captain America, then you're going to have a problem.
And then the other side of it is, this really hurt me when I read it. They said that Black Panther, he said, this guy is a comic store owner, and he's like, in my store, Black Panther was killing it. And then Marvel was like, oh, we're going to do World of Wakanda. We're going to do Black Panther and the Crew. And he said, as each of those books was announced and came out, the readership of the main Black Panther title fell off. Because he's like, the people who are coming in, it's just like, he's like, we sell 160 copies of Saga every month. We order 80, we sell 160. He's like, because, and those people are coming in, they want Saga. Now, they might buy another book that features another character, but they don't want Saga Part 2.
Right.
They want another book that interests them, that's dope, with an original story,
It
etc.
sounds like they're self-diluting themselves.
They are.
They're
And
milking.
cannibalization
Absolutely.
is
It's
full as well.
self-cannibal. Exactly. Well, I guess, yeah.
And I love World of Wakanda. Shout out to
Roxane Gay
for, it's a great book, but I felt that when Marvel did it, that,
The timing is off. It's not so much that they are including all this together. It's including all this together
Give
at the same
Roxane-
time.
That
give
article-
Roxane Gay something else other than a Wakanda book.
Absolutely.
Give her Captain Marvel.
Right.
And let her write that and let her blow that character up. Don't try and milk the brand like that.
Well, you know how they do. I mean, like, they only give Gail Simone books that are like female characters. Priest originally quit comics because they would only give him black characters to write. Like, they get, and so it's like with Roxane Gay, they'll be like, oh, well, we'll give you another book
And
that's a
Wakanda's
black woman
popping right now, so we'll give you World of Wakanda.
But I was going to say, there was something else in that article that I thought was interesting. Was there was some issue with Spider-Man that was $10 a while ago,
Yeah.
and then basically that Spider-Man fell off. Like, people stopped buying Spider-Man
Buying
after
$10
that.
book?
Right, and apparently the $10 book was whack.
And
On top
Marvel
of
thought
that-
it was a
What did
win
I just
because
say?
they
Yeah.
made they made 3 times as much money.
Right.
But then the guy's like, well, you might have done that then, but in the long term, you lost.
Right, if
more
you lose
people.
20% of your readers over the course of a year, that's a lot more loss than the 3
gain.
times you made that month.
Right, because you've lost them forever.
Right.
Yes, for real. So shout out to Brian Hibbs. Shout out to comicsbeat.com. Go check out that article. Really great article. And real quick, in comments that I did cop this week, and you should be too, The Flash continues the series that's going on in DC with this whole Watchmen crossover. I'm not blown away by it just yet, but it's better than Secret Empire so far. So that, I'm not dogging Secret Empire like everyone else is. It's a terrible idea, but the story itself isn't the worst. And I'm trying to let it finish before I, give full judgment on it. But in books you should cop this week, the new issue of the Hulk is out. Very dope. Features the She-Hulk in a storyline where she's trying to control the raging monster inside of her. It's very ill, like kind of horror, kind of thriller. Not what you expect from a Hulk comic book, and very dope. Also, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur hits issue 18, which is a celebration in itself for that book to see 18 issues and still going strong. So make sure you check that out. That means the 3rd trade will be out soon, so you can pick it up and trade.
Shouts to Little Miss Flint, who did her own rendition of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Fire too, definitely. And Exo Man of War from Valiant Comics also dropped the 2nd issue of their new storyline, which I'm really liking. It's kind of like Planet Hulk, but featuring Exo, like basically Iron Man being on a planet full of aliens, and definitely an ill story.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm loving Valiant. You know, everything they publish, you know, right up there with Image as one of my favorite comic companies. And shouts to LYC, who keeps recommending Black Monday Murders, and I need to get it because he says it's fire. So I'm going to get on that soon. And that's it for comics I copped. And in some related, a lot of related comic movie news this week, Fox announces 3 X-Men movies for 2018.
Most of which we knew already.
Yeah, New Mutants, Deadpool 2, and Dark Phoenix.
Who's playing Phoenix?
What's her name from Game of Thrones?
Oh, that's right. Oh, they're doing a young one. Sophie.
Sansa Stark. Yeah, Sophie. Yeah.
Okay.
She was actually especially disappointing in that X-Men movie.
You thought so?
Yeah, I
mean, the movie as a whole was disappointing.
Yeah.
But you thought she was especially?
Yeah, I thought she was especially disappointing. Yeah.
Why you singled her out, Chico?
Because I was expecting more from her. I mean, I thought the whole movie was a total disaster. I mean, it's
total.
I mean, mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really it was problematic. You know what's ironic? So what's ironic is I've now seen all 3 of the really horrific superhero movies that came out last year.
And none of the good ones?
Well, no, I saw all the good
Civil
ones
War,
too.
yeah.
But so no, I just saw Suicide Squad the other weekend. No, I'm telling you, like Batman vs Superman is definitely worse than Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
and that X-Men movie is worse than Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I mean, Suicide Squad is bad.
Yeah.
But it's still
has
ahead.
something.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and it also doesn't. It knows what it is. Like, it's just a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be all deep like
Batman
like
versus
Batman
Superman.
vs Superman was, and it isn't a total mess like the X-Men movie was.
The one that killed me about X-Men is, and I keep missing this point when I'm watching on cable, but they kill Angel in a plane.
Right.
They do?
No, I don't. Did they kill him in a plane?
Yeah, he dies in a plane crash.
Yeah.
The man with wings
Right.
dies in a plane crash.
Can he fly?
I keep missing it,
fly
and I saw
away?
someone tweet it, so I had to go look
So
on
you haven't even
Wikipedia.
seen X-Men Evolution?
No, I've seen it, but I keep
'Cause
missing
I couldn't
that
even remember
scene.
that. Yeah,
I keep
yeah.
missing that scene, and so I had to look it up on Wikipedia when I saw somebody tweet it, and yes, he dies in a plane crash.
And ultimately, if you take Will Smith's performance in Suicide Squad is better than like the 10 best performances in the other 2 movies put together.
Yeah.
I will say that Jared Leto is the worst Joker in my opinion. I guess some people liked him, but I wasn't so down.
It's like everyone else has been great, so it's like when you're like,
Right.
yeah, it's like you're just a bad Joker. It's not even
Right.
that you're the worst. There's like nobody
Yeah.
to compare you to on that lane. Like,
and actually, worst use of Common ever in anything is Common is in one scene.
I
And-
disagree.
and-
That Queen Latifah movie.
Oh.
I'm gonna get shot.
Which one are you talking about? The HBO joint?
No, I'm talking about the one where he plays a basketball player and
Oh, her in common.
tries to act.
Wait, you talking the HBO one? The Bessie Smith one is good.
No, he's talking about. You said the best. I know what you're talking.
I can't remember the name of it, but
She was great in the Bessie one.
no,
She was.
she's fine. She's
It
fantastic.
ain't even about Latifah right now.
No, Latifah's great. That's all I'll say on that.
After Heath Ledger, why does anybody even attempt the Joker? I just think it's so much. You
Jared
have
Leto
no
seemed like
shot.
that dude who,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I can do this.
That's exactly
Dick,
it. He strikes me. Yeah,
whatever.
I just think it was the wrong approach.
He's
Blah,
not.
blah,
like
blah.
he could pull it off acting chops wise, but that way that particular character was written and the way that version was a miss.
Well, he's not a dude I'd want to sit next to on a plane, unless it was United and they were overbooked.
There'd be some smoke in
There
the
was
city.
so much that just happened.
The levels of shade in that one sentence.
Listen,
Wow.
Just Right is the movie that you were referring to.
Petty Leo.
There it is. There it is. Just Right was. Anyway, yeah.
You didn't even want to revisit that. Yeah, Just Right was.
Just.
That is
And
that
in the
was
weather.
movie.
It's,
Right.
it's too easy to finish that sentence. Like, I can't do it.
And today in weather news.
Yeah, Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis will return for Glass, the sequel to Unbreakable. And
yeah.
spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
Not watching it.
I'm not watching it either, but a spoiler for those who haven't seen it. It's a sequel to Split, because at the end of Split, Split, the movie about the
Split personality.
split
I know what
personality.
you're talking about, so I'm looking at you sideways.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
what?
well, this is huge spoilers for everyone who hasn't seen it. At the end of it, it's revealed that it's like they go to this diner and the camera moves over and Bruce Willis, his character from Unbreakable, is reading a paper and looks up and sees the news reports about the guy, and then he like gets up like, okay.
So there's gonna be a Shyamalan.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
They're all Shyamalan.
It's
Yeah.
basically,
No, I know,
it's
but-
basically uniting them, and
Yeah.
Mr. Glass is returning, and so it's gonna be Bruce.
This is a Shyamalan idea to unite his own universes.
Hey man, hey.
Why do they
Hey,
keep
man.
giving him opportunities?
The grass is killing me. The trees.
I just need a second. Everybody, just give me a second. Oh yeah, but I've heard Split is great. I haven't seen it. I just knew the spoiler because I didn't care and I just wanted to know what it was all about. And I'll check this when it comes out. But something I am super hype about, and for very weird reasons, is Michael B. Jordan and Michael Shannon are going to star in Fahrenheit 451, which is incredible to me because that book like changed my life. Like that is one of those books that I should not have read as a kid. It just made me look at the world very differently, and it's what's the word? Prescient? Is that the word?
Yes, very much so. Prescient.
Prescient.
But yes, very much so.
It is so like, and that was the problem. When I read the book as a kid, I recognized that it was about our time right now, and we have moved even more so into the time of Fahrenheit 451 in our reality. So this movie is right on time, and them casting Michael B. Jordan, as the lead makes it even better. It might add some, the racialness to it because it has a lot to do with police, our society, television, endless wars that we are never a part of, that we just hear about on the news, illiteracy, ignorance, everything that
fake news,
everything we're talking about in America today is part of Fahrenheit 451. So I really hope they get this right because I'm hyped for that.
Let me add on for the hypeness. Anika Noni Rose, she has optioned Shadow Shaper, the young adult.
What?
Yeah.
The young adult series from our friend of the show, DJ Older.
The circle of trust continues.
Yes, she had already optioned Bone Street Rumba series, but now she has jumped on 4 TV and film options for the Shadow Shaper series.
I could not be happier for both of them.
My God. Oh, my God. Because that book, I got to get the novella because I haven't even got the novella yet, but that Shadow Shaper is my joint. Congratulations, DJ Older. Doing it big. DJ at the nursing home and now getting his joints over here green lit. And speaking of lit, did y'all see the Kingsman 2 trailer? Because that joint looks fire.
Yo, I am obsessed with the Kingsman. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So excited.
I can't lie. It looks fire. I'm going to miss Samuel Jackson doing his Russell Simmons impersonation, but watch the Kingsman again, folks. He is definitely doing Russell Simmons.
Oh, he's definitely doing Russell.
Yeah,
He said so himself.
He
He
did?
was doing. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He said that he based it off of Russell Simmons.
That's so great.
Like, people were like, I'm like, he said that verbatim.
That is so great.
Yeah, he thought that shit was hilarious.
Russell thought it was hilarious?
No.
I bet Russell thought it was hilarious.
Possibly.
He should've.
But no, Sam L thought that was hilarious.
Making Russell a world-dominating evil
Yeah.
genius? Why not?
Why not?
Too far, of course. Ooh. All right.
There is so much shade this episode. It's because Chico's here.
It really is.
Oh, God.
Welcome back, Chico.
Welcome back. DC Entertainment is also launching a digital service in 2018 with a Titan series.
Listen, wait. Let's back that one up.
I just got so mad at the second part of that.
Why is we talked about this on the FanBrosShow timeline on Twitter. Why is the next Teen Titans? Why is that not on Netflix? Why? We sat
Why
here.
is Young Justice not going to be on Netflix, John?
We sat here and screamed about this, put every single last breath and sweat into bringing it back, and then you don't bring it back on Netflix. You bring it back to another streaming platform, which we have to pay more money for.
That's a whole corporate thing, though. I mean, like,
I know, but it's
Marvel
stupid.
made their deal with Netflix, and now DC is going to want to do their own thing, and they're owned by Warner Brothers.
It's stupid, just like how it's stupid to put this non-existent Star Trek show on CBS All Access that nobody's going to pay $5.99 extra for, because at this point, this show is vaporware. It doesn't exist. It's never coming out.
Sasha got eaten by zombies for nothing.
Oh. So I'm guessing you read this article.
I read the article,
Yeah,
and I'm
because-
a little bit upset.
Yeah,
Could you tell?
I mean, like, in other TV news, it seems that this Star Trek Discovery is never going to happen.
Listen, Sonequa Green Martin, she obviously she as Chico rightly mentioned, she's done on The Walking Dead. Her character was
Ain't
killed
no coming
off.
back from
She
that.
died and walked off.
She died. Her character was killed off not too long ago, and she was supposed to be riding high
sucks.
on the Star Trek Discovery series, which was supposed to be produced by Brian Fuller or written by Brian Fuller
And produced.
show run, all that by Brian Fuller. He had
Moved
taken a step
on.
back and moved on. Obviously, American Gods, which will be coming out this Sunday, April 30th. Make sure you live tweet.
Use the
tweet with us.
hashtag
Use the
American
hashtag
Gods.
American Gods. GAWDS. That being said, all that stuff has been falling apart. This show, Star Trek Discovery, is supposed to be Sonequa. It's supposed to be Michelle Yeoh. It's supposed to be a whole bunch of this multicultural.
What Star Trek was supposed to be.
What Star Trek is supposed to represent.
Right.
The problem is nothing is happening. It was supposed to premiere back in January 2017. That didn't happen. Now when you ask them specifically to their face what happens next, they go, oh, well, there's no timeline. Excuse me?
Yeah.
So
And the writer's strike is going to actually throw everything. There's an upcoming writer's strike, which is
Oh,
going to
again?
happen in like a week. And that's going to actually throw a
Lord
lot of shows into total, you know.
We ain't never seen
And then
Atlanta
they're
again.
passing the buck around a lot. They're saying, "Oh, this is in CBS All Access control. Like CBS All Access is a legit network. Like, I am not paying $5.99 for this. Why would you?" Again, Paramount, CBS, y'all piss me off with this. As a Star Trek fan, as a sci-fi fan, especially as a fan of someone having a black woman lead in the series, a Star Trek series, y'all piss me off.
And then,
Just-
like you said, they killed her off on Walking
You know what,
Dead now
though?
for nothing.
As a step back, though, this is part of the unbundling that's happening. Like you talked about the layoffs at ESPN earlier. So ESPN, that is the most expensive channel in every cable bundle. Like basically everyone who gets a cable package is paying $5 or $6 for ESPN, right? And so this is what the future is. The future is basically everyone paying $5 for this channel, $10 for that channel, you know, whatever.
I don't think it's gonna work. That's the problem. I don't think this is the future because I don't think it's gonna work. It's just like with Marvel Comics where they think that they can, you know, keep up this business model and it's gonna work. It's not gonna work. Like the future is Netflix, you know, being the only thing.
No, because it's Netflix, it's
Hulu,
it's Amazon.
Amazon.
And even there are these specialty things that, you know, Shudder is only $5. If you're a horror fan, the $5 for Shudder is a no-brainer.
There's a difference between
Yeah.
specialty and
Yeah.
relegating
People get
certain
Crunchyroll,
shows.
you know, who want anime. There's
Right.
definitely like people will.
But you're not gonna
pay
get
for
it just
sports.
for Star Trek and Young Justice. You're
No,
gonna
you won't
need
get
more
it
than
just
that.
for Star Trek and
Yeah.
Young Justice. I agree, but say the Sci-Fi Channel goes and it's all Star Trek and it's, you know, sci-fi. You know, like it's going to be that kind of thing.
I think, yeah, but I still think that I don't think that's gonna, you know, I think there's definitely changes to, I mean, obviously the changes are constant, but I don't think it's like that should be the set business model just yet because there's
No, it's
obviously-
figuring
yeah,
itself.
it's
You're
figuring
right.
itself
You're right.
out,
It's
yeah.
figuring itself out, and we're in the growing pains.
But back to Star Trek. So you're saying instead of representing inclusion, you know, like it should.
They're representing non-existence.
So
How about that?
So basically, they're representing what Star Trek is doing right now.
Thanks, Ben. I mean,
You're welcome. And it's now time for Chico's Pick of the Week.
Well, as has been previously mentioned, of course, this Sunday will be American Gods, and of course, if you haven't seen the great or listened to the great interviews
And seen
Yes.
on our YouTube channel,
That's-
Tatiana herself interviewed the entire cast.
That's right.
And the creators, Neil Gaiman himself as well, everybody. So make sure you're subscribed to youtube.com/fanbros. Use that hashtag American Gods, GAWS.
Now that-
GAWDS.
That said,
Gauze.
I still have my own pick.
Of course you do. 'Cause you're Chico Leo.
So on Netflix is a documentary, Mifune, The Last Samurai, which is about
Yeah.
So it's about Toshiro Mifune, who basically him and Akira Kurosawa basically made like 30, 40 samurai movies together. when you think of like, you know, I don't know, like Denzel Washington and what's Ridley Scott's, Tony Scott, like they made like 6 movies together, or you know, John Wayne and John Ford. I don't know. There's a lot of people. Wesley
Scorsese
Snipes.
and De Niro.
Scorsese and De Niro, exactly.
Scorsese, yeah, and who is Leo DiCaprio?
And Leo now,
yeah. Although he's there, that's done. That's
Oh, yeah?
over. Yeah, that's officially over.
But the next one is going to be Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. But the
I like
original
that.
one was definitely Toshiro Mifune and
Nice.
Akira Kurosawa. And so this is actually about Mifune. There's been a lot. I mean, Kurosawa is considered to be, if not the greatest, one of the greatest directors. He lived to like the age of 100. Some people consider Seven Samurai to be the single greatest movie of all time. Anyway, this is about Mifune, the actor. And it's a really dope documentary. And if you don't believe me, Leo Fairman, who sometimes appears on Scream Squad, the other Leo,
Los Leos,
yes, did a really great review of this doc for Black Girl Nerds a little while back. So you should go check that out. But no, it's a really good documentary. Anyone who likes samurai films, and anyone who likes movies.
No.
I mean, this guy is like the quintessential movie star.
And,
he had it all.
And Chico Leo, this is Chico's pick of the week.
That's right.
They're gonna like it.
That's right.
Like, come on, man.
That's
You know,
right.
you
How could they not?
You don't give out whack picks.
I don't give out whack picks.
No. Wave off bad picks. That's Chico Leo. All right, but that's on Netflix. One more time. The name
That's
of that?
right. Netflix. It's Mifune.
The Last Samurai.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
This ain't that Tom Cruise joint.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I'm glad they went with The Last Samurai so they could like
reclaim it.
Yeah, get that Google.
Exactly.
Get that SEO
Yeah,
going.
get that SEO
Reclaim it.
backwards.
Mifune,
Should
The
be.
Last Samurai.
Yeah. I'm glad they went with that. Cause,
That retroactive SEO.
Yeah, claim that back. Take that back. Oh, no. All right.
Did you talk about Kung Fu George?
What?
Yeah, isn't that like some new? What's that British director who was briefly married to Madonna at one point?
Guy Ritchie.
Guy
Yeah,
Ritchie?
is there some Guy Ritchie movie with like Kung
no.
Fu George as a character?
Yes, his new is that the King Arthur joint?
Yeah.
the new King Arthur joint. They put out a poster for it the other day. You know, it's the new King Arthur movie, but it looks like trash. And it made me question Charlie Hunnam.
Oh yeah. That dude is.
He's making bad choices.
He made bad. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Sons of
Yeah,
Anarchy.
he's not gonna be in Pacific Rim 2 because he's doing this, and that was a bad choice. The movie looks terrible. It's a King Arthur flick by Guy Ritchie, and they put out the poster the other day, and they got all the characters. You know, it's like King Arthur, some other white dude, some other white dude, some other white dude. Kung Fu George.
Yeah, Kung Fu George.
It's the Asian character's name.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna touch it.
They got ripped on Twitter and took the poster down.
Not even gonna touch it.
So
you
once
you
again,
should know better.
Yeah,
by now.
you should.
If you have a Twitter account, you should know better.
Yeah, you should know better. Kung Fu George. Yeah. Yeah. What you should be watching, like we said before, you know, after you beat Mifune, The Last Samurai, is American Gods this Sunday.
April 30th.
On
we
Stars.
are doing a live tweet with Black Girl Nerds and everybody else who wants to join in. Use the hashtag American Gods, GAWDS, in order to join into our conversation. As Benjamin said, make sure you hit up FanBros TV and the Loudspeakers Network account to see the interviews, the TV interviews I had done with the entire cast. There's also audio that you guys have been hearing throughout all the different shows. If you guys have questions to the cast or to us about what we talked to the cast about, hit us up, contact@fanbros.com. As we said at the top of the show, if you want to join the FanBros family, hit us up, contact@fanbros.com. If you want to write, paint, draw, produce, direct, whatever, bring it on home. And as always, if you want exclusive dope shit, go to lootcrate.com/fanbros. Use the code FANBROS to get a discount on your Loot Crate box.
Word up. And as always, make sure you go to theworldisYoursBook.com. Pick up a copy of my children's book, The World Is Yours. It's a rhyming poem book that I wrote with art by my boy Marcus Aline. Both
Very
of
good
us
book.
Howard University alumni.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tatiana. And it's a book that will encourage a child to live their best life. So, you know, help out your children, your friends' children, your family, anybody out there, libraries, schools, buy one, donate it, give it away. You know, let's raise the next generation up with some light and knowledge in their life.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.